Hello y'all, so we are back with season 1 episode 11 of the Circle Atlanta, honey. And honey, darn gone, first let me give a shout out to darn gone Nunu, honey. Nunu is just surprising us, honey. Speaking of surprises, I'll get into this a little bit later. But anyways, honey, let me find out darn gone mother's trying to make a liar out of me, honey. I guess darn gone head mother said, bitch, I'm tired of y'all, especially Diva. Every time she come up on here with her reviews, she always talking about it's a month of Sundays between episodes. So, darn gone Nunu gave us, what, only 3 weeks this time? Come on through, Nunu. And not only that, but she released it at a reasonable time too, honey. I want to say the premiere ended up, now it's supposed to be at 9:30, but you know, Nunu Black, honey. We ain't never on time for shit, honey. So, Nunu's ass end up darn going releasing it around 10, still reasonable enough, but shit, y'all know Amazon kicking my ass with this schedule. I still couldn't catch the live. Someday I'm going to catch the live. That's why I want Nunu to have the shit darn gonna release earlier so I can darn gonna catch the darn gonna live. And speaking of darn gone lies and stuff, I'm just so glad to get back to my off-key singing. Y'all know darn gone in the midst of episode 10 up until now, DivaWuan's in between that time done a caught the Rona for the second time. Done a ruin my birthday weekend. Well, I was hump day this year. My birthday was on a Wednesday. But could not celebrate because I darn gone contracted the Rona. So, hence why I'm glammed up today. To darn gonna make up for not being able to get glammed up on my birthday week. Don't y'all judge me by my darn gone liner. I'm still, after 10 years, still trying to perfect this. Yeah, the liner is a failed, honey, so I need somebody to teach me how to do the damn liner. Ooh, and this darn gone hair is damn hot. I don't know how y'all girls be doing it with these straight units, honey. I'm a curly girl, honey. I can't wait to get back to my darn going natural tresses. This is just too much on my neck and stuff. But I wanted to switch it up for y'all. But anyway, speaking of switch up, honey, we had quite a few switcheroos going on this episode, honey. But before we get to that, let's start off from the darn gone beginning. Y'all hope the bitch don't darn gonna pass out between this makeup, this hair, the fact that it's reasonably hot up in here. Girl, let me get a sip of water before we get into the mess, honey. But anyways, it's starting off from where we left off last week. The girls are still fighting, child. So anyways, Melly B and the argument between Melly B and darn gone Tevin still ensues. And I was like, oh, Lord, why? Like, why is we darn gonna fighting over miscommunication? Like I said a few weeks ago, Cash, you started that bullshit. There was no need for it to get here. It's like, why are we here? Why are we here? You darn gonna cause all this animosity for what reason? What was the reason in my Cardi B voice? And speaking of Cardi B, we going to talk about that darn gone lawsuit a little bit later in another video. It ain't looking so good for a certain other person, but back on topic. But anyways, in the midst of all that, the girls start to go outside, and Alyssa, honey, she damn sure didn't have to worry about getting hit in the heat of the night, honey. She had that old reflector coat. I was like, but damn, is the coat glowing in the dark, or is it just bouncing off of the flashing lights? I was like, damn, darn gone. Alyssa, where that darn gone coat at? I need that darn gone coat when I'm darn gone walking around in the darn gone hoods of darn gone fed now, honey. Y'all know with all this melanin magic I blend in with the nightness. Honey, I need that damn coat that darn gone Alyssa had on just glowing in the darn gone nighttime, honey. But anyways, then it darn gone turns on a sad note. Darn gone Alyssa ends up breaking down and informing the cast about Jules' phone message. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought we already knew about the phone message. This what was upsetting me. Because I was like, wait a minute. Now, did Jewel darn gonna send another message? Because she told us about the message that she sent at the Harlem Renaissance event. And then she said Alyssa was okay with it. Now all of a sudden we finding out Alyssa wasn't okay with it. So in the midst of all that, honey, Tevin and Melly put their differences aside for Alyssa. And then they end up hugging it on. And I was like, come on through. You know, they banter is just... They banter reminds me of like a more spicier version of Karen Huger and darn gone Giselle. It's on the cusp of almost borderline Nene Leakes and darn gone Kim Zolciak. Because you know darn gone Nene had to darn gone choke up darn gone Kim's crazy ass one good time. And then they had that on and off again banter. That's what Tevin and darn gone Melly B is reminding me of. But anyways, moving on from the makeup from darn gone Melly B and darn gone Tevin temporarily, because that shit don't last too long, as we seen later on in the programming and off camera, child. But anyways, yeah, Alyssa ends up informing the cast that she just heard the message this morning, and the way that she phrased it, it made it seem like Jewel was lying about sending the message that night prior. Upon them asking further, Alyssa, elaborates and says, no, I did receive the message last night. Last night, I got the racist message. Honey, she said last night she got the darn gone reverse racist message. Well, she didn't say that. I'm just adding 20 on 10. But anyways, she got the message last night, but she did not process it. And so, now this is where the confusion comes in. Because now everybody done turned and now is framing this narrative that doggone Jewel was being a malicious, intentful bitch. And I was like, now wait a minute now. When somebody shows you who they are, believe it. Now, not to say that Jewel's a bitch about this. I think Jewel is heavily misguided. I think Jewel needs a good sit down on this, because the politics of it all as far as TV does not look right, girl. I understand where you coming from. You know, black women, we always got to darn gonna look out for everybody else, and we always obligated to darn gonna put people in our struggle, but sometimes you just want to be to yourself. It's like, I understand from one perspective of black people feel like, hell, can we just be over here by our damn selves? Y'all always want to take our likeness, but y'all don't really want to carry our blues like that. Y'all struggle is nowhere near to the extent of our struggle. People are looking at least darn going, get laws and stuff passed in favor of your stuff, but they still don't want to entertain our shit. So on one end, I understand where Jewel is coming from with these events about black empowerment, being over here to ourselves, talking about our struggles, highlighting our successes and all this without necessarily having to share it with our brown allies or whatnot. Because right now, when you think about it in Congress, it's like Mexicans, everybody that was running for president raised their hand for reparations for Hispanics detained at the border. Because you notice when it comes to immigrants that are brown skin like us, they don't ever mention them in the argument. We ain't heard nothing about the Haitians, the Africans, etc. Even the darn gone Afro-Latinas. Every time they talk about Hispanics, it's always the ones that look like Alyssa. So there's even darn gone issues within the Latina community that can be a discussion within itself. But yeah, we always hear the AOCs and stuff of the world always caping for the Alyssas. But when it comes to black people, we ain't heard nothing about reparations for any of them. And then, the list goes on and on of the stuff that we as black people get overlooked for. And every time we mention our grievances, it seems like everybody wants to say all lives matter. And, we are oppressed too as far as minority. And we get that, but once again, black people ain't having their shit looked at all. So when black people feel like they're just over and they just want to be to themselves, let certain people be to themselves. A darn gone Jewel came in the door authentically her. She showed you who she are. She showed you who she is, and it's like, why is we all of a sudden now saying she's a bitch because she's maintaining what she does? Now, once again, I don't agree with it all the way, but she showed you who she is. And we finally hear the phone conversation. Once again, we can windmill on this, y'all. I know some people going to disagree, but I didn't hear anything malicious in the darn phone conversations. Now, once again, now there is this false narrative that, oh, Jules said she ain't invited to any parties. No, that was a lie. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and include the clip right here. As y'all seen from the clip, right, it says, if I do decide to include the clip, I don't know if I end up recording the clip or not, but from the darn phone conversation, we only hear darn Jewel kindly mention that we have these 2 events that's coming up. It is black only, and as a result, unfortunately, you're not invited. Now, that does not mean that darn all of Jewel's events is going to be black only, and that Alyssa's not invited to any of them. From what I gathered, darn Alyssa wasn't invited to those particular 2 events. Also, we got to think about the fact that this was recorded over a course of a month's time period, and it is a high chance that both of these events were darn already set up in place before the filming of the show. So I feel that Alyssa would have been, Jewel would have been hypocritical if she would have invited darn Alyssa there, and darn would have turned around and flip-flopped on her views and stuff. Because it's like, well, hell. I mean, just think about it. It's like if she's normally known to kick white people out, people are going to look at her funny like, oh, now you done got on this darn little reality show, and all of a sudden you darn flipping on your views and shit. That's how some people would have took it. Now, on the flip side, though, I wish, and hopefully we might see it within the next couple episodes, but it's highly unlikely. Maybe Jewel can actually have an event or, you know, invite Alyssa to her house, because it seems like she's cool with Alyssa. It's just, you know, she had these black events that she wanted black people only. So hopefully, you know, there's a conversation that comes forth that's positive, and, you know, maybe, you know, they can have a sit down at the house, although once again, the chances of that is unlikely, because then we get the flashback of darn Jewel talking about she don't really like white people, period, up in her space. And it's like, oh, Lord, now, girl. Now, that's where I can't fuck with you at. Because, and now I got to go on a long tangent, y'all. Y'all know DivaWuan's got to go on her historical background. Then we're going to get back to the rest of the stuff, because we got 3 pages to get through today. So bear with me. Jewel, I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, and I understand the black-only events and shit. However, we got to get to the point of we cannot darn completely alienate our darn brown and white allies. Because all kinfolk ain't skinfolk. And my thing is this, Jewel. You talking about anybody can be welcome if they black, they black, black, black. But honey, it be some of the blackest motherfuckers that would darn do us in first. Like, I need to give you an education lesson real quick, Jewel. When it came to slavery, we tend to forget about the white folks that were hung up in trees, that were helping darn black folks escape. We tend to forget about they try to frame the narrative about Cherokees just being slave owners, but they don't mention about the Cherokee Indian Rebellion, where Cherokees started assisting black people with darn adopting them into the tribe, and, you know, revolting against the darn the ownership of slaves just to maintain they, you know, like, because they was being threatened with their own lives if they didn't, you know, keep darn black folks as slaves and shit. It's a long, you know, I'm just summarizing everything. Meanwhile, long story short, Cherokee Rebellion, black folks were allowed to go through Cherokee territory without any problems. White folks that touched Cherokee land would instantly get hung up in trees, get shot down with arrows, and the list goes on and on. So we do historically have allies, even going back to slavery days. So on one end, it's like, I understand you want it to be black only, because it's like everybody else plight is starting to get looked at except for ours. But at the same time, we just can't say fuck everybody, because it's like we still have folks that darn you know, fuck with us. And quiet as it's kept, even if we go to modern day, honey, I'd rather have darn Marion Williamson on my side versus that fake ass Kamala Harris. It's like, once again, she parading as if she's a black woman. But once again, she ain't mentioned nothing about darn anything regarding black justices. Even the shit that she ran on. Like, from darn mortality care in the darn hospitals, getting the contaminated darn water fixed in places like Flint, and darn funding $100 billion towards, you know, fixing corrupt pipes throughout the whole country, including in black and impoverished neighborhoods. Like, she hasn't even done none of that stuff. But meanwhile, but anyways, that's my little tangent on that. Like I said, not all skin folk is kinfolk. We can even go down to darn President Barack Obama and the lack of stuff that he's done for us as well. Darn crime Bill Joe, but y'all want to call him Uncle Joe. But yet you had two of the whitest darn people on the darn stage that was more darn for black people than darn the folks that look like us, i.e. darn Tom Steyer and darn Marion Williamson. And then later on, even Andrew Yang came around and entertained the thought of reparations in addition to the universal basic income. So once again, we cannot darn alienate our darn allies. I understand you want to have events for just black people only, but at the same time, we need to also incorporate some events as well that includes our allies that darn wants to help out with our struggles and stuff. So once again, that's my little darn 2 cents on that. Let's get back to what's going on. But anyways, oh, I do got to bring up one more thing, and then we're going to jump off this. Melly B brings up the false comparison of white people going to it's like, okay, I understand y'all issue with darn Jewel and her bigotry. And y'all saying that it's semantics, that I bring up the differences between prejudice and racism, and that it's really the same thing. It is not. So for the last time, I need y'all to stop making these comparisons as if darn Jewel is a large entity, or if she's no Beyonce. She's not no damn Michelle Obama. She is not the Queen of England. I need y'all to stop comparing her to such a high regard as if her darn talking about she don't want white people in her space is equivalent to institutional racism. You saying that, oh, what if darn white folks wasn't allowed to go to HBCUs? That is institutional darn lies racism. That is forbidding people from darn getting a higher education, and thus darn putting them at a lower standard of living. That is darn economically darn hurting them on a massive systemic level. Darn Alyssa not being invited to Jewel's party is not going to hurt her economically or anything. I mean, at most it hurt her feelings, but darn Jewel is not even being outright threatening to darn Alyssa. Now, she's being inadvertently insensitive. She definitely needs there definitely needs to be a conversation had between both of them. So I'm with Tevin on that there do need to be a private conversation in regards to this, because everybody else is tiptoeing around it. From what I've seen, even later on, we didn't even nobody addressed it with Jewel. So Jewel, unbeknownst to her, thinks everything is all okay, but everybody knows the problem but Jewel. So now it's this narrative going on that Jewel is intentionally being a bitch, but it's just as simple as nobody told her, including Alyssa, that there was an issue. But anyways, moving on, child, moving on. Then we get to darn Dante finally brings up, and this was at the 23:15 mark, and I include that right here. He finally brings up the fact that he took up for Melly and elaborate on how hypocritical Jewel response was and whatnot. Hold on, no, wait a minute. I done Child, y'all know I'm darn gone was writing this during the COVID, so child, my darn gone writing is messed up. So Dante brings up the fact that he darn gone took up for Melly, and I was like, how the hell you took up for darn gone Melly? You was just bringing up in general why he wasn't invited. And matter of fact, this is where the hypocriticalness comes in with darn gone both with Cash and Jewel. I mean Cash and Melly B. And once again, I know y'all. We can have the discussion about this. I personally think it's hypocritical of you, Melly B. Lord jeez, I'm about 2 seconds from snatching off this damn wig. Y'all ain't about to see this darn on wig no more. Like, I don't know how y'all girls do it. God damn. But anyways, I think it was hypocritical of the way that y'all responded to darn on Dante versus the way y'all responded to Tevin. Because of the fact that when Tevin brought up, well, who supposed to be coming, he brought it up in general. He didn't put no name on it. Like I said, at the time, Rico wasn't there. Eugene wasn't, I mean, not Eugene, but Megabody wasn't there. We know why Mulatto wasn't there. We know why Melly B wasn't there. Alyssa was questionable. So it's like, Jewel really don't have no direct issue with Alyssa other than the fact that she's darn gone, you know, she was a little bit too fair. Although, come to find out, from what I've heard, non-black people was invited to the dang on party. So now, Jewel, you got some explaining to do, boo-boo, on that one. You said darn on Alyssa was invited off of the premise of her not being black, and that this was supposed to be a black event. Come to find out from the actual host of the damn, the person who party it was non-black people that could have been invited, and there was non-black people there. So now, Jewel, you got some explaining to do, boo-boo, on that one. Because like I said, I understand you have the right to your black-only events and stuff if you so choose, but in this event where this was not solely your party, this was like a public event like area, and it's like, if other non-black people were actually invited, why couldn't at that moment that you seen that there were porcelain people throughout the darn going place, you could have darn gone reached out to Alyssa and be like, now girl, I was mistaken. It looks like darn gone folks is invited. This is an inclusive event. So if you ain't doing nothing, girl, you can come on, get down. Like, you could have even done that. So the fact that that wasn't done, now Jewel, I told you a couple weeks ago, bitch, you should have had your wig grip. Now I got to snatch your darn gone wig back for that one. Girl, you out of order. But anyways, Melly B and darn gone Cash is still out of order because low-key they talking about they don't really fucks with Dante like that. But at this point, the way they darn gonna be responding to Dante, I do believe that they're digmatized. And I believe that there is a little double standard going on between the way they respond to somebody who is more perceivably trade-ish verse, and you know, I say that loosely with darn gone Dante, but versus somebody who's definitely more filmed like with darn gone Tevin. Because with Tevin, they was ready to darn gone fight Tevin, and Tevin brought it up inadvertently about who supposed to be there. Darn gone Dante was really darn gone stirring the pot with darn gone bringing Melly B's name up, when we already knew why darn gone Melly B wasn't there, and now he faking like, oh, he brought his name up just to darn gone Dante, sit your ass down. Girl, bye. Sit down. Moving on. Like I said, we can have a conversation about that, honey. But anyways, then we see Alyssa giving a history lesson about her late friend. You know, rest in peace to the iconic Monica Van Pelt, honey. So Monica Van Pelt, she looked like she was a mixed-ish Latino woman, because she looked like she was somewhat like us to a certain extent, honey. It's just very fair, honey. But yes, Miss Monica Van Pelt was a doggone activist for the communities and stuff, not only the trans community, but for us as black people as well. Once again, now Jewel, this ain't looking too damn good now. You have now, once again, her in the midst of losing her friend who's a fellow activist who they darn gonna marched on behalf of Black Lives Matter and shit. But meanwhile, you darn gonna invited some people, and I ain't gonna call out the cast members, but I'm just saying it is what it is. Some of the darn cast members that you invited there just simply because they black, honey, when it comes down to it, honey, I think Alyssa would have been more ready to fight on your behalf than some of your fellow. Like I said, not all skin folk is kin folk. Cause honey, low key, Alyssa probably would jump and take a bullet for you before some of your fellow brown castmates will. Just putting it out there. But yeah. Anyways, moving on from that, honey. Well, not to say it like that because damn, we is talking about the deceased and somebody who was a pioneer. I don't want to just say it insensitively, like just moving on. But once again, rest in peace to the legendary, iconic Monica Van Pelt. Definitely, I don't even know what she passed away from. They didn't never expound upon, or did I miss it? Y'all know DivaWuan's be missing shit. Did they actually mention, did she pass away from like a disease, or was it like, I don't think it was murder, or they would have mentioned if she was murdered. It seems like but it's an untimely passing because she's fairly young. She don't look like she was even 40. So, do anybody know what Miss Van Pelt actually passed away from? Because it definitely seems like it was an untimely passing. But once again, my condolences in regards to Monica Van Pelt. Then we get over to the next scene. So now we got Jewel fixing to get the darn going. Oh, wait a minute. I already mentioned about that. Oh, well, I do need to mention this, though. Alyssa, this is why I mentioned where Jewel is about to get the bad at it even more. Because Alyssa did bring up a valid point. Like, girl, you started off this whole show. And now we got the darn Lester. Head mother. Bitch, I need you to clarify some shit too. Now, between you and Jewel, now what is going on with this casting shit? Now, I want to know why Jewel has the impression that this was supposed to be an all-black cast. Now, I know we in Atlanta, but Atlanta is just a slight majority black. It's like 55% black. And even when you think about shows that have been on TV, when you think about Real Housewives of Atlanta, that started off with Kim Zolciak and Lisa Wu, a half Asian woman, a full white woman. When we think about Married to Medicine, they started off with Karen. So I don't know why you didn't think that this was going to be an all black. I mean, maybe she was thinking about the shows like Chasing Atlanta and stuff like that, where those have been all black casts or whatnot. But I don't think Lester had it on the paper, boo, where the shit supposed to be all black. And you did come in the door talking about you felt like the shit should be all black. Now, girl, you ain't no director, honey. And now, once again, Alyssa pointing out that you darn gonna turn it off the white viewers and stuff, even though we know it's a majority black viewing show. But still, there's probably like 5 or 10% white viewers watching this shit. And you know, their viewership counts as well. So now, I hate to say it, but Alyssa did bring up a very, very valid point. And Jewel, girl, we need a darn statement from you soon regarding this, honey. Because, once again, you was out of order for that too, girl. But anyways, moving on from all that, Melly B then informs Mulatto, because Mulatto wasn't there. Mulatto just been out the loop lately, honey. What's going on with Mulatto, honey? I understand why she wasn't at the Renaissance event, but where was she at with darn? Because as far as I know, her and Alyssa don't got no dang on problems. Why wasn't she at the darn skating ring, honey? But anyway, she's darn being abreast of the situation. And you know, of course, Melly B putting darn 20 on 10 in certain parts. It is what it is on that one, honey. And next we get to the Zoom calls. And this is what made me start taking these damn notes, because y'all know I be zooming out on the damn Zoom calls. And even with me taking the notes, I still be getting shit fucked up. So y'all feel free to correct me if I missed some stuff. But Martell and Tevin on the Zoom call with Jewel. And this is where I say where she is darn being unaware of this. Because nowhere on the Zoom call did they darn bring her up on the speed about the situation with the phone call. And I was like, now see, y'all ain't doing right by your damn girl. Like, once again, Jewel thinks everything's alright. She darn gone reached out to darn gone Alyssa. Alyssa darn gone didn't say nothing back as if she was hurt. So she's under the guide that Alyssa was okay. And now there's done been a whole group conversation about this shit. And then your darn gone two besties ain't saying nothing in response to like, girl, we need to darn gone tell you darn gone Alyssa wasn't really feeling that phone call, honey. You need to have a sit down with her ASAP. So yeah, that maybe they had that off camera, or you know with the way that this shit is filmed and stuff, maybe they did have the conversation, but it just didn't get picked up for the for the final cut. Y'all tell me, was that actually mentioned on the Zoom call and that just got sliced out? Hopefully that might have been the case, because I would hate to think that darn gone Martell and darn gone Tevin just darn gone didn't inform Jewel at all. I hope that they actually did, and it just didn't simply make the final cut for the darn on editing. But anyways, on to page 2, honey. So then we get our boy Rico, honey. Rico done came, and my thing is this now, darn on Lester, you fucked up now with the darn on beginning. Darn on Rico got cheated out of the darn on updated editing, but you should have darn on slid him in for a little guest darn on pop up in the darn intro, honey. I know darn Rico would have had a old nasty, sickening darn intro. You could have had him as, you know, a featuring slide or something, honey. But anyways, we just got him featured up in the darn in the cut at his job or whatnot. At first, I was looking at the head. I was like, darn, do Rico work at the cookout or whatnot? Honey, y'all know DivaWuan's loves a good old cookout, honey. But I was looking, I was like, oh no, that don't say cookout, honey. But he's at some sort of restaurant on his darn 30-minute break, honey. DivaWuan's knows about that all too well, honey. From my time at damn Chick-fil-A, but we ain't going to go back to those horror stories, honey. Y'all go catch that in the darn videos that I've done. But anyways, once again, this is the Jewel episode right here. They bring up the situation involving darn Jewel, and now we see where darn Rico and Jewel have beef. So pretty much, Rico's beef with Jewel don't have shit to do with what Rico and Jewel have directly. So pretty much, darn Rico and Jewel's beef don't have shit to do with anything that they've had between each other directly. It's all between Alyssa. And now I'm even more pissed off at my two faves, because it's like, now, wait a minute. So between this darn misguided conversation, well, you know, monologues, I should say, because there ain't been no conversation. That's the issue, because the conversation needs to be had between them two. Once again, Jewel sent the message. Everybody knew about the message that was sent, except for Rico, because Rico wasn't at the Harlem Renaissance event. And nothing was said. Like, and it, once again, we heard the recording. The recording didn't sound malicious or anything. Now, some people saying that she sounded fake and conceited. But that's up to y'all personal opinion. I don't think she was being fake and conceited. She was just being her general self. And once again, I done mentioned the stuff that darn Jewel needs to work on. But yeah, now we done got to the point where y'all done got Rico pissed off at Jewel. And I was like, oh, Lord, damn. Really? Now, are y'all telling me this is the reason y'all two going? Oh. And the only reason why I got to roll my eyes at both of these hoes is because Alyssa is disappointed. She's extremely upset. But I think once we get to the sit down between, and this is me being optimistic, I don't think darn Alyssa is even as upset as these folks, right? I'm like, oh no. Now this, once again, Jewel was wrong. I understand that. But my thing is we ain't even going to give her a chance to even correct her actions. She don't even know that she did wrong at this point. Now, once we get to this darn sit down, which looks like it might be the damn near season finale before we get to sit down between these two. At that point, if the conversation is had and Jewel is still on the bullshit, then I will be with y'all with saying fuck Jewel. But at this point, Jewel has not even been given a chance to correct her actions. And y'all are already writing her off. And once again, proving the point how black people, you just got one time to do a fuck up. specifically black women, and you darn gone thrown off the pasture. You don't get no second chances. You don't get a chance to correct your actions or anything. But yeah, y'all, I can't get with that, honey. I'm like, oh no. Now, this fucked up. But anyways. And then, once again, this is what made me have to go into the history lesson earlier. Rico mentioning about all non-whites are allies. And that is sort... that is a fallacy.
You call people white that are not Caucasian.
Right.
Then you sit there and intentionally not invite people to things because of the fact that they're not considered black when you don't know what the fuck they are. If they're anything other than Caucasian, they're still an ally and they're still a minority.
Period.
So that is not allowed to anywhere near me.
Statement, because I mentioned both sides of the aisle. Yes, we do have white allies and brown skinned allies. We do have the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to a certain extent. We do have the Merriam-Webstersons. We do have the white abolitionists that helped us out during slavery. We do have the Cherokee Indians that risked their lives rebelling against the white folks, and that's when they was deemed savages. The irony of a folks that come and darn gonna rape, pillage, and steal people's darn gonna land, and the folks that you stole the land from risk their lives darn gonna trying to save our darn gonna asses as black people went running to go up to freedom up to the north, and then you want to darn gonna deem them savages, but you darn gonna causing all the havoc. See, when you darn gonna give the pen to darn going this, they darn gonna always try to make themselves seem like the damn savior child. But anyways, we know we got quite a few darn gone non-black allies. But that does not mean that every one of them is with us. Because, honey, 70% of darn gone Hispanics vote Republican. We're not going to act like there's not discrimination in the darn gone Latino community. Also, in addition to that, we're not going to act like we didn't have the videos of darn going Jackie Chan's cousins and shit wanting to whoop up on Quita and them because you thought that they was stealing some nail polish and some darn going $20 weave out of the damn store, honey. And then come to find out that most of the time they wasn't even stealing nothing. You darn gone jacked up they darn gone nail. I do nail for you. And you done fucked up the darn gone sister nails. She darn gone refuses to pay. All of a sudden you want the darn gone go Bruce Lee on a motherfucker. So we ignore all those situations. But y'all know when the darn gone Asian folks, darn gone unfortunately 6 Asians were shot, I think last year in Atlanta. And then the first thing they go was trying to blame it on a brother. Then come to find out the darn gone person who went on the shooting spree was one of them. But then they go bringing up all these videos of black people attacking Asian people. But then come to find out those videos were over 20 some years ago spaced apart. I was like, ain't this some bullshit? So, no, Rico, I can't be with you on that one saying that all of them are allies. No, honey. There's quite a few of them that be on that bullshit. Even with funding the darn gone Ku Klux Klan, honey, there was a recent darn gone video done by Africa Diaspora News Network that shows that the majority of modern day funding from the for the KKK is not even white people but Asians. Honey, that's a whole video discussion within its damn self. But anyways, let's get back on the topic of this video right here. But yeah, moving on from the darn going the Zoom calls or whatnots. Now we go back to Jewel. Oh, who the fuck is calling me? I thought when you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, it supposed to silence everything. I guess I got darn gonna put my phone back on airplane mode. But anyways, moving on. 43-minute, 20-second mark. We got the comparison of Jewel mentioning to Mulatto she isn't going to turn down another woman and whatnot. And that's like, once again, now, this is starting to look like it's an intentional bad edit. Because it's like, now, what in the world did that phone call to darn going Alyssa have to do with the issue with Mulatto? Not, once again, I need these false comparisons to stop. Because, and once again, that shit was petty between both of them with Wiggate. And you know the Ernie. Here I am with this darn on cheap ass darn on wig that I'm throwing away after this damn video, child. And that's the main issue that was between them, was who had the worst wig on camera, and they shit wasn't darn on. Jules said that her, from what I'm getting and gathering, Jules' issue with Mulatto is Mulatto had bad wig days, but her bad wig days was not brought up on camera. But Jules' shit was. I swear this shit just petty as damn fuck, honey. But anyways, they comparing that situation, the beef between Mulatto and Jewel, and where Jewel said, you know what, we're not going to engage in any more banner because you a woman. And now y'all comparing that to the darn on Alyssa situation. But the only reason why I can't say that's a direct comparison is because Jewel is not trying to be malicious towards Alyssa at all. They don't have no, as far as Jewel knows, there isn't any beef at all going on between Alyssa and Jewel. Versus when there was issues with Mulatto and Jewel, both of them knew that there were issues going on between one another. So yeah, I don't get how that comparison came about with. Once again, y'all feel free to chime in on that. Am I the only one that's thinking that's crazy? Like, how in the hell did we get that comparison? And once again, her saying she wasn't invited, I don't think it could be comparable to her tearing down a woman. But anyways, moving on. Then we get darn going Jewel mentioning Jewel, this is where shit hits the fan. Jewel mentioned since Martell is going out with his boyfriends, and you know that's a whole storyline within itself, because for the past couple episodes we've been seeing the other boyfriend, the dark-skinned one, but the brown-skinned one we ain't been seeing in a minute. And then Martell made that slick comment about you will see this boyfriend more often, and then y'all might only see the other one on the weekend. So it's like, wait a minute now, what's going on with the menage a trois relationship, honey? Did the darn gone two main couple break up, and then you still, you know, messing with both of them, but you now going to separate places? Like, honey, we really need to see a little bit more of what's going on with that, honey. I don't think Martell's getting enough of his own individualized storyline, honey. That needs to be filmed a little bit more, Lester. But anyways, moving on, honey. She mentions about inviting B-Hawk, and girl, I hope you got your wig grip, because girl, now this is where I got to snatch you all the way back, honey. Like, girl, now you know you dead ass motherfucking wrong. Jewel, I love you, I do, but it was no way in hell that you can justify inviting B-Hawk. And just because there are people who have plus ones, it is totally different. Darn going Mulatto inviting her wife, who actually is low-key extra part of the cast, who has subject herself to fit, that is totally different than you inviting somebody who actually has issues with another cast member to the point of violence and stuff has been, you know, people have threatened people's lives. I'm hearing that darn gonna B. Hawkins has threatened darn going Melly B's family members, and you is aware of all these situations, and you still darn gonna brought B. Hawkins into that type. Girl, bye. Anyways, let's move on. Then Jewel brings up the transphobic statements that Melly B has said about another cast member, and then we flash back to season 3.
Basically, the recap of it is Melly B and B-Hawk was on the show together, and this is before B-Hawk identified as a trans fan.
Oh, hell.
Was in the positioning, and there was another cast member who was trans and saying transphobic things to that cast member, like, oh, you can't even pass. Interesting, huh? That Melly B would say that you're not even passable, you don't even look like a woman.
Like, if I'm trying to get things done, like, breasts cost money. I don't understand why you think your employer should pay for your cute clothes and your yaki. I don't understand. I asked Jeffrey, do you remember her? He said, no, bitch.
You'll see him probably at one of the events. He'll probably
I hope so.
Yeah, just keep your hands to yourself.
I will.
Oh, this is some tea I know nothing about.
The issue with Michelle is that she gets more life as a woman. She gets no life as a boy. As a boy, she looks like, I don't even know. I don't want to be that kind of shady, but bitch, you...
Okay. Melly, I love you. Girl, I do. But once again, you know, in the gay community, y'all motherfucking queens be on that bullshit. When it comes to Mad Day, y'all will highlight the trans girls like myself that don't be looking nowhere near as fit. Because I bring my own self into comparison. Bitch, I know I'm not no T.S. Madison. I know I'm not no darn gone Miss Maya, a.k.a. Tokyo Styles, when it comes to where I'm at. I know I'm far beyond, you know, I'm far behind in my darn gone transition process. And when y'all don't mention that to us when y'all cool with us, but honey, let it be an argument or something that ensues. That's the first thing y'all motherfucking queens throw the fuck out. Y'all throw out about how a bitch is low-key handsome as opposed to being beautiful. Y'all will mention about, and girl, you was petty. You was trifling. It is what it is. And like I said, there's different levels of transphobia. And what Melly B is doing is being inadvertently darn going transphobic. It is a discussion that has been had in our communities. And as time goes on, you know, the gay community have started to ease up on that bullshit with darn going making those types of comments in regards to the trans girls. So hopefully Melly B is one of those girls that have, you know, learned over the years to learn how to read without darn going saying stuff that is generally derogatory towards the entire community. Once again, what Melly B is doing is what we would consider lightly inadvertent transphobia. I wouldn't consider it overt malicious transphobia because, you know, Melly B doesn't have a disdain for the whole community. But he is insensitive when it comes to how to argue with trans women without having to go make generalizing comments about trans women in transitioning when you are mad at a particular trans person. So yeah, he can definitely learn to step his reading game up when it comes to throwing out insults without making comments that inadvertently, you know, targets a whole community of people. So I understand where Jewel is coming from on that to a certain extent as well. So once again, everybody needs a learning lesson, honey. Jewel needs a learning lesson. Alyssa needs a communication lesson. Darn gone Melly B needs a lesson on, you know, referring to the trans girls. Honey, all y'all are darn gone, all y'all got darn gone faults, honey. So it just is what it is on that one, honey. So now we get to darn gone the house scene, honey. So Cash is entering the house. So Cash is entering the house and whatnot. And we see the darn gone assignments that was originally set for the rooms. So here we go with the room assignments right here. So as you've seen from those pictures, the original room assignment was Melly and Cash had a room. They had the best room. We're going to get to that in a moment. Tevin and Dante, Jewel and Martell, Eugene and Megabody. And then for whatever reason, Mulatto and her wife is not staying at the house. Now I want to know what's going on. Like, okay, Mulatto is not darn going really at the events like that. Then she comes to the house, but she's not staying at the house with everybody else. Like, what in the world is going on with Mulatto not fully being, you know, all the way immersed in the cast, you know, curriculum activities? Like, what's going on with darn on Mulatto, honey? But, and then I want to know who came up with the dang on room assignment. Now, I'm not one of the girls that usually be for we need to draw straws and shit, but I do think it's fucked up that darn going Cash and Melly B automatically had the darn on best room downstairs. And at first people, and then it was a little bit of breaking the fourth wall and storylines where Megabody came in later talking about, wait a minute, well, I didn't get the email or whatnot that we had to be down here early to choose our rooms. And I was like, wait a minute. But the darn going, the name tags and shit, Cash saying that he came in and his room was just happened to be the best room. So from what Cash is saying, there isn't no behind the scenes where they came and picked the darn going rooms first. Or was there? It's like, did the cast members low-key did come down and pick their rooms, and then for the sake of filming and entertainment, we just darn gonna put the name tags on there. But the way Cash responded, I don't think that was what happened, especially when they did the Zoom call. I mean, well, the FaceTime call, and Cash was showing the rooms in general. Like, I don't think they came down there, because we still got some folks that are still traveling to the house. From Jewel and darn gonna B. Hopkins. Martell ain't even darn gonna arriving, but his name was still there. So obviously, they didn't darn gonna come down and darn gonna choose their own rooms. Somebody chose the rooms for them, and then this shit falls back on Lester and darn gonna Jamal Honey. Now, which one of y'all two was the ones that darn gonna chose the room? Honey, They knew what they was doing, honey. They knew choosing them darn rooms was going to get some darn shit started, honey. Although I don't think they was really counting on darn Dante being the one darn switching up the names and shit. That added even more entertainment to it. But they knew that it was going to be some shit in general in behind these damn rooms. So as time goes on, other people start coming in. Like I said, Dante done came in second, switching rooms. Mulatto and her wife came in third, darn gonna viewing the rooms and shit. Then we darn gonna get darn gonna Eugene. Dante eager to darn gonna show Eugene to this room because they sharing the room, so he thought, honey. Honey, Eugene wasn't up for that bullshit. Then darn going, later on, darn going Dante trying to say, well, you know what, bitch, I settle for darn gonna Megabody. I'm like, girl, you is just a hoe. You was a trifling asshole. And I believe you would have darn gonna try to switch out darn going Cash room if Cash wasn't darn gonna so adamant on like, bitch, ain't nobody touching my damn room. Because it's like, low-key, you really wanted darn gonna either Cash or Melly B. And it's like, hell, if you could have had it your way, honey, you probably would have darn gonna been in there with both of they motherfucking asses if you wanted to. Because darn gonna Dante, I hate to say it, Dante is just a hoe. Dante couldn't darn gonna get in the room with neither Melly B nor Cash. So now you trying to get either with Eugene or darn going Megabody. Tevin is just not your T because he darn going too film for your taste. Girl, if you don't go ahead and cross darn on Frank, girl, we don't need to see you back here next season, honey. But I don't want you to be off reality shows in general, honey. You need to go over there with Markel. The way that your hormones and shit be racing, and you want the darn on sample guys and shit and all this, girl, you need to be casted for the third season of damn Lovers and Friends. The way this shit going, honey. So goodbye to Dante for darn on Circle Atlanta. Hello, Dante over there for Lovers and Friends. Markel, if you watching this, go ahead and cast Dante for the third season, child. He'll make for a good entertainment for a love drama show like Lovers and Friends, honey. But anyways, then he darn going in the confessional talking about him and darn going Eugene is the best looking of the show. I was like, girl, bitch, please. Who the girl. Now, I'm not saying that you ugly. Everybody on the cast is darn on decently attractive. And I'm not just saying that for PR because y'all know DivaWuan's is a Capricorn. If any of y'all was legitimately ugly, honey, I would darn gonna call it out. But girl, who darn gonna deem you universally the second attractive up to Eugene? Honey, we need to take a poll on that. Do y'all think Dante is among the most sexiest of the cast? And then, like I said, well, damn, you just darn gonna threw your darn gone 2 main lovers under the damn bus. Honey, your 2 lovers darn gonna got a room to their damn selves. Melly B and darn gonna Cash. And now all of a sudden you want to darn gonna talk about you and Eugene are the best lookings of the show. So we just gonna say darn gonna Cash ain't good looking. We gonna say Melly B ain't good looking. All the other cast members aren't good looking in general. And really, if we want to go there, I hate to say this, but you among the least attractive. I mean, granted, all of y'all are decently attractive, but on the attractive scale, I personally would think that darn gone Dante is on the lowest of the totem pole on who's generally attractive. Hell, even, and you trying to darn gone be shady towards Tevin, and darn gone Tevin is generally more darn gone attractive than you, just from a film perspective. Even with you being quote unquote more traded, honey, you being more traded don't automatically mean you more attractive. Cause once again, hell, if I had to choose, if I was gay, honey, if I was a gay man as opposed to a trans woman, honey, I try my luck with darn gone Tevin before darn gone Dante. But anyways, moving on, child, moving on. Child, and then we get the doggone infamous remark from doggone Cash in regards to them wanting to remove him from the room, honey.
Cash is fine with his room instead of
I'm sure. I came in first, so okay, I'm in first every other minute. I'm in the room and ain't nobody gonna move.
period. Cash, what you say?
Right. We wanted to move you, we could. Right.
Oh!
So let's not. You never touch me. No. I'm just letting you know. You better get with you and contact. You know. I'm letting you know. I'm with myself. That's it. Listen. I can drive home like I drove here. I did too. Exactly.
Blue. Child, when I tell y'all I fell the fuck out, honey, there go Cash said, bitch, y'all better darn gonna have Jewel cast a motherfucking spell, honey. That's the only way you gonna get me up out of that motherfucking room, honey. And Megabody, girl, now you was too much in your feelings. Like, girl, I understand where you coming from, but it's like, your issue is low-key with Jamar and darn gone Lester. Honey, darn gone Cash just darn gone benefited for the darn gone mess that Jamar and Lester darn gone did with these rooms. But you darn gone going as far as talking about you would take the room and all this, that, and the third. I'm like, now, girl, don't start no fight behind these damn rooms. Because low-key, it looked like it would be a draw between y'all two. I'm not saying Cash will whoop your ass because it looked like you would hold your own. But it's like, now, we don't need to be borderline coming to blows behind some damn rooms, honey. And hell, I was here for doggone Cash recent comment on the Instagram. Like, okay, the rooms are nice, but bitch, come on now. Y'all really revealing y'all hands as if y'all ain't never been to no extravagant place before. Like, it don't need to be to the extent of just because we had a good doggone Airbnb, we need to doggone start doggone low-key doggone threatening people behind some damn rooms. Even if you trying to do it playfully, you still doing it relatively aggressive, and it's just doing too much, honey. Megabody, you was out of order, honey. But anyways, moving on from that, honey. Child, Eugene, you need more than some damn sage, honey. You darn gonna trying to sage up the darn gonna house. Child, boo. Low key, you needed darn going Jew to cast a whole darn going healing prosperity spell and darn going good vibes. Hell, you needed the whole darn going witches of the South, honey. The darn going prevent, and even then it was gonna be some shit, honey. Because the moment that this next scene came in with B. Hopkins, I just want to know why, Jewel. Why did you darn gonna decide to be... Now, girl, I hate to say it, but you know damn well you was fucked up for this right here. Darn gonna B. Hopkins come in every bit of damn near 7 foot tall. I want to know how foot tall is darn gonna is B. Hopkins, honey. B. Hopkins come in darn gonna standing up all up here, fabulous, darn gonna beat face and
Period.
Ooh. Y'all know y'all wrong. Y'all know y'all are wrong.
I didn't watch any part of the prior season.
Hey, I want to make another toast. Cheers to the freaking weekend.
Period. This is Mega Body, and that's Mulatto.
Jewel brought her best friend B Hawk. That sounds real familiar.
Hi, Dante.
Crazy Jewel, girl.
now, Jewel, I love you, girl.
Yeah.
But you was dead ass wrong for this shit right here. The nails like Miss Flojo and all of the things. But once again, we just overlooking the fact that you are aware of the threats and shit that Miss B. Hopkins have done against Miss Dargon Melly, honey. And that the fact that they don't see it for each other. And your ass thought it was a good idea to invite Dargon B. Hopkins to the house. Now, Jewel, now I understand we got to spice shit up for the shows and stuff, but when it gets to the point of you inviting somebody that is so volatile, and I'm not saying that Darn gonna be Hopkins, but so you know it can create a volatile situation where once again it's on site. Where once again I heard that knives were pulled out and shit. It's like, now girl, you knew that this type of shit could have happened. It's like you. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, girl, now I had to say, you was completely fucked up for this. I was glad to see Miss B. Hopkins. They was looking fierce and everything, but you could have had a solo scene with Miss B. Hopkins. Why did Miss B. Hopkins could have did like motherfucking Mulatto and and Mulatto's wife and had her own damn house. I mean, had her own dang on hotel or whatnot. Why in the hell did you have to invite the bitch to stay inside the motherfucking darn house? Girl, boo. And then we get a flash of next week's episode. And then it looks like next week's episode is out of order. As far as it looks like next week's episode is going to be the B. Hopkins episode. Like, we just seen clips of Jewel and darn gonna B. Hopkins or whatnot. And I'm like, we didn't see none of Martell in the darn gonna next week clips. So it looks like we just want to get a flashback of what led us to be up to this moment. So basically a filler episode. And if that's going to be the case, hopefully we get this filler episode within 2 weeks time period, honey. I don't think we should wait a whole month for a darn gone filler episode, in my humble opinion. Because it looks like we just going to get flashbacks all the way up leading to what happened with Miss Darn B. Hopkins entering the damn house. And once again, I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. But I'm still going to stay tuned for the darn miss. I'm sorry I'm not at 100, y'all. Like I said, I'm just recovering from COVID. My nose still low-key running. This wig, I'm about to snatch the fuck off and call it a day. But anyways, y'all tell me y'all thoughts about this. I promise I'm going to do better with these damn reviews. It was not my intent for this damn review to be an hour and damn 6 minutes long. Next week, I promise we're going to get this shit under 40 minutes, regardless of how long the episode is. But that is it, y'all. Y'all leave y'all thoughts, comments down below. Like I said, I really want to hear from Dargon Lester in regards to the Dargon casting. Because I don't know why Jewel thought this shit supposed to be all black, everything. Also, I need to hear from Martell, Melly B, and Jewel in regards to, was she properly informed about what Dargon Alyssa is feeling? Or is she still truly blindsided? Because once again, the way that it's looking, I think darn going Jewel don't know the extent of her statements and how it made darn going Alyssa feel. And then hopefully after, well, hell, I guess we could say fuck this part right here. Because I was about to say, hopefully after we have a conversation with darn on Alyssa and Jewel, Rico and Jewel can settle date. But hell, this shit was filmed damn near a year ago. And we don't see that they still don't like, but I'm just going to give up on that right there. Honey, my two faves are just going to forever be enemies, honey. So, it is what it is. I'll see y'all next week or next month, however long it takes Miss Darn on Lester to come out with Darn on episode 12, honey.